was looking for a documentary to watch, and for some reason this popped up. I honestly watched the first 10 minutes of it thinking it was a documentary. Instead, I got a kick-ass concert. Now let's talk about it. Alright, it's really hot in here. I don't think you guys want bald man sweat on your YouTube screens, but anyway. Ben Platt live from Radio City Music Hall. I had to read off something. For some reason, that's like a tongue twister for me. Ben Platt and Music City. I can't say it. I can't say it. So this is Ben Platt's Netflix original live performance, and honestly, I'm pretty sure I heard Ben Platt before this. A couple songs that must have been like radio hits or something, but I honestly, so at least before this, didn't know who Ben Platt was, and I honestly thought that was for the better, because it's this type of thing where, like, I'm reviewing this as someone going in blind, and who thought it was a documentary. It's not. I'm just an idiot, but I digress. So it's basically just a music performance. It's an hour and a half or an hour 25 minutes long, and it's just Ben Platt singing his greatest hits at the end of one of his tours. And in between, he'll do what most musicians do. They'll tell a little story, or they'll tell what inspired a song and stuff like that. And that's one thing I will say about this is that most artists that I've seen, whenever they talk about, oh, this song has a deeper meaning, oh, this song means so much, blah, 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 I don't believe it. But Ben Platt just comes off as one of the most genuine live performers I've ever seen. And this is coming from someone who I'm not a big fan of that kind of music. I'm not even sure how to really describe it. Again, I review movies, not music, but it's more like pop love songs, I guess is the way to describe it. I'm not a big fan of it. So honestly, the first 20 minutes when I realized it's not a documentary, I was actually debating on turning it off. But I had it on. I said, whatever, it's only an hour and a half, let's see where this goes. And honestly, he won me over. Like, I was not expecting that. And this is a performance without any costume changes, without any big pyrotechnics, without any extra stuff. Just him performing with this very talented band. I will say, like, the choir singer, the background singers, choir singers, whatever you want to call them, the band itself, everything was really good. The stage itself, it almost looked like it was an indie show, except when you pan to the audience, it's like a full house. So it's like a full theater. So, well, yeah, music theater done, but the theater was full, but they still had that indie aesthetic. And I think it also goes down to the way Ben Platt performs. It's very intimate. It's very, it's almost like he's having a one-on-one with you. The only other artist that I think kind of encapsulates this is Lindsey Buckingham. And Lindsey Buckingham primarily plays high school gyms and stuff like that because he wants to be kind of a indie rocker kind of thing. While Ben Platt, on the other hand, is doing, in my opinion, they're completely different artists, but Ben Platt is still able to make that connection with you. And even though he's performing in front of a crowd, in front of a theater full of people, it still feels like it's a small indie show, and that's not an easy feat. And again, I didn't know or recognize any of his music before this, but there's a couple tracks I want to track down afterwards, especially the one he dedicated to his grandma who passed away. Like, I actually got choked up, and I'm not one to usually get over emotional watching a performance. That being said, I cried during Avengers Endgame, so who am I to say? That being said, this still isn't my cup of tea when it comes to music, but as watching this as a Netflix special, watching this as a one-off performance, I enjoyed myself. In fact, I would implore you, if you're not really into, let's say, poppy love songs, give this a try. And one thing that really elevates this is the fact that he can tell his own personal stories, and none of them are over the top. None of them are like, for example, like he's gay, like he mentions that, like, I believe before or after his first song. But even then, his stories about him being gay is basically like, I'm happy that everyone accepts me. He doesn't go too far into it, but it gives you just enough to kind of show you where his music's coming from. He talks about ex-relationships, and it really elevates the whole performance. So basically, this doesn't have to be a long review. I think you should watch this, even if you just have this. I think you're doing it a disservice just putting it in the background, because Ben Platt's stage presence is so like encapsulating. Again, I'm not a fan of music, but even I was surprised. But even then, even if you just want to have it in the background, just listen to it as an audio concert, then that works too. But I think this is worth a watch, at least for the average person. I know that's a very bold thing to say, but again, I went into this with low hopes. I was just hoping to just be mildly entertained while I worked on something in the background, and instead I'm making a video on it. So there you go. Thank you, Ben Platt. And as for me, it's been me, Benny B. You've been awesome, and thanks for watching.